What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot Rico. It's Rico and Bot live on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel. And the week we've been waiting for since the schedule first came out, the Sunday we all circled. It is almost here, folks. It is Bills Chiefs week. The undefeated 9-0 Kansas City Chiefs take their talents to the Ralph to take on the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. Rico, are you pumped up or what?
Buddy, I feel like I've spoken about these Chiefs quite a bit these last couple of days. I mean, last night's show, I was in my bag a little bit and shared my thoughts. But I was like, you know what? Let me save some of that for when my man Z-Bot comes through, because I'm sure he's going to be sharing. He's going to be sharing some thoughts, some insight on how he feels about this very team. The one question I do have for you: how scared are you of these Chiefs?
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. It's funny. My mentality right now, when I think of, and I don't like to use the term fear, and I know a lot of you in the comments think that I love to use the term fear. But when I think about a team right now that I'm like, I just don't want to see them, it's not the Chiefs. And I know that that's come back to bite me several times before. But these Bills are 4-3 all time against the Chiefs with Josh Allen. Josh Allen has some of his best numbers of his career in those games. Right now, as it stands, going into week 11 of the 2024 NFL season, when I think of a team that kind of instills some hesitancy in me, it is still the Baltimore Ravens in this AFC. That is what it is. It is the Baltimore Ravens right now compared to the Chiefs. Now, I know the Chiefs have not lost since last Christmas. They are quite literally putting a regular season streak on the line this upcoming week. If they beat the Bills, that will be the equivalent of what the Patriots did. Not all that, well, it's getting long ago now, but back when they had Randy Moss, what the Dolphins did back in the 70s, that's the streak they're putting on. It just didn't happen in one full season. It's happened over the course of 2 seasons. And it's incredible when you break it down, because you'd think that is the team you'd fear the most. You'd also think the Bills would be underdogs in this game. They're not. They're favored to win it. I just was watching the preview show that the official NFL YouTube channel puts out every week.
Okay, how'd that go?
The entire panel, at the end, they give you their picks. I mean, look at this right now. And this is what is just killing me. This was the result of the picks at the end of it. You have, I mean, look at that. You have 6, 7, 8, and you have 9. What is that? I can't even count.
Yeah,
5, 6, 7, 8 to 2. So 10 picks, 8 chose the Bills, 2 chose the Chiefs. Now, maybe the idea behind that, Rico, is something's got to give. These guys can't win every single game, and based on their remaining schedule, this seems like the one they're most susceptible to losing. I don't know. But in a roundabout way, to answer your question, I'm not fearful of the Chiefs. I think the Bills stack up very well with them in every metric will prove that. Josh Allen's numbers, the points allowed numbers, the points against numbers, these two teams couldn't be more evenly matched. The biggest difference between these two is a couple of moments in the playoffs that have ultimately been the biggest difference in the legacy of these two franchises.
Oh man, it's absolutely true. And here's another thing too, right? When you look at the matchup between these two juggernauts, if you will, I put my Z-Bot on my Z-Bot hat on yesterday.
Your bent brim?
What's that?
Your bent brim?
You know what? I bent it as much as I could. This is as much as I'm gonna go. So as I put my hat on, I was like, all right, bet. Let me look at what the line is for this Kansas City Bills. So it was 2.5. I thought they were gonna favor the Kansas City Chiefs. I was actually surprised that they had the Bills favored at minus 2.5. So then I looked today just to kind of refresh it. The line's changed. I'm sure you've been paying attention. I don't know if you have or not, but we're down to 2. The line is now down to 2. So it's getting a little dicey as we get into it. But I get it. The Bills are home, so they're gonna have to give a little love to the Buffalo Bills. But I don't like it because now it gives Kansas City a little bit of not that they need it, but a little bit of motivation. So, oh yeah, y'all think we're the undefeated team. and you're going to give the Bills an opportunity to have that edge on us. All right, man, they want us to lose. Yes, we want you guys to lose, for crying out loud. But anyway, these Kansas City Chiefs, man, they just keep finding ways to win. And at the end of the day, that's what freaking matters. Did you win or did you lose? All right, that's all that matters right now. The Bills are 8-2. Chiefs are 9-0. Could this be? Is this the game of the week?
Oh my God, this is the game of the week. This is the game of the year for most people, whether you're a fan or not. Well, you want to know what's a great point you make. I was talking about this earlier on another show. This might be the best week of NFL football all year long. I mean, there's banger after banger after banger, and they're all massive games. There are so many big games. You have the Ravens and the Steelers. Winner of that takes over first place in the North. The Bengals, by the way, Rico, Sunday Night Football against the Chargers. Both those two teams deking it out for one of the last spots in the playoffs. If the Bengals win,
Washington, Philly,
can't skip over that. That one's for top place in the East. So it's crazy. But that Bengals game, if the Bengals win, they have a 40% chance to make the playoffs. If they lose, they have a 15% chance. So that one's huge. There's a ton of great games this weekend. But of course, this is the creme de la creme. I mean, they tried to flex this game to Sunday Night Football, and CBS said, no, we are putting
this. Really?
Oh, of course. They flexed in the Bengals Chargers instead. They tried. They put it under lock and key. Back to the point you were just making about the line there and the Bills being the favorite.
Right.
Here's a crazy stat for you. Mahomes has only been an underdog, I believe, 14 times in his entire career. That in itself is absolutely insane.
I'd love to know what the record is.
I'm sure you would. And that's exactly what I'm about to give to you.
My guy, there you go.
He is 12-1 all time as an underdog. So it's 13 games. He's 12-1 all time. That only loss to the Buffalo Bills.
Of course it is.
But he is quite literally the greatest quarterback of all time in terms of percentage in which he wins while being an underdog. I think he only has 11 road losses total in his entire career. I mean, we all know the numbers by now, but these are the more intricate numbers you don't hear about every day that just go to show you how crazy of a run that this team has been on. I want to win this game so badly, not just because I love beating the Chiefs. I love the ability to sort of somewhat delusionally believe that this Bills team has a shot at the 1 seed. I think it's pretty crazy to think that they wind up getting it based on what needs to be done and what the Chiefs kind of have going on right now in terms of their stranglehold on that spot. But the ability to snap this streak, Rico, would really be the icing on the cake to me. For the Bills to be the team that beats them first in this run that they're going on, because they're on a historic run here. If they beat the Bills, their schedule lines up to where they could go on the longest streak in NFL history. For the Bills to be able to be the team to knock them off, man, that would be something. And that's, of course, what's on the line on Sunday.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have all the aspirations of this being an awesome game and you're excited for it, you're jacked up for it, but then you get deflated when you find out Keon Coleman out. Okay, sweet. All right, fine. He's got to get healthy. We'll give it to him, right? Thank you, Jordan Poyer, for that. But also thank you for the win against you guys. So number two, you got Kincaid that's dealing with a freaking injury off of a missed deep ball shot by Josh Allen, right? So now you got your first round tight end gone, your number one pick in this year's draft, gone, and then you trade for somebody in Amari Cooper, and he's nursing an injury. So you're without three very influential key players on your offense. It's hard to get up for this game knowing that you're not at full strength. It is really hard. You know what I mean? So it's like I can sit here and go, yo, we're gonna this, we're gonna that. We're not full strength. Defensively, cool. We got what we got. But this is gonna be a tough game, man. I'm not sleeping on these Bills, but it's hard to get up for it knowing that you're not fully healthy. That is deflating in itself. But I mean, listen, any given Sunday, anything happens, and your window is always open with someone like Josh Allen. So you got to keep your head up for that in that regard. But golly, man, we need guys to heal up. Laura, you know what time it is, man. We need Coop to heal up. But he was catching balls from the jug machine today. So maybe it's a good sign. I mean, and if it is a good sign, how healthy is he to even go into this game? That's a whole nother ball game, man. We're not healthy. We're banged up, man. We're banged up.
By the way, to clarify that stat, I misspoke. So it was Mahomes is 12-1-1 against the spread as an underdog. Straight up in terms of wins, losses, still incredible. He's 11-3. So it was against the spread, though.
Against the spread.
So what that's telling you is the Bills win, it likely will be within a couple of points. The way I see this game, Rico, this is how I see it, win or lose for the Bills. I think whoever gets to 24 points wins this game. I think that the team that scores 24 points will outscore the other team. There's not a shot in hell, in my opinion, that either of these teams score 30. The Chiefs haven't allowed a team to score 30 points since, I believe, Richard Nixon was in office. It's been forever since this defense has allowed a team to put up that type of performance offensively on them. I think that 24 points in this game, a Chiefs team that's averaging about 17 points per game offensively, I don't see where they're getting 30 points. I know the Bills are averaging 29, but the Chiefs are defensively barely allowing teams to get into the mid-20s on a consistent basis. So that's how I see this game. When you factor in those injuries you just mentioned, that's also going to kind of disadvantage the Bills' ability to get to a higher point total. I mean, we know these Bills have scored 30-plus points in 6 of their 9 games. They're accustomed to doing it. I don't see it in this one. This is a low-scoring one to me that comes, as they always seem to do, right down to the last couple of plays. And I just think 24 points seems to be the bar that if you hit it in this game, that might be enough to get it done.
Listen, I'm going back to what you were saying, and I'm looking at the teams that they played this year, right? Obviously, week one's always a crapshoot. So they played the Ravens, tough game, 27-20 victory. Then they played the Bengals on a scrappy game, 26-25. They just got away with a victory against the Bengals. Falcons, 22-17. Chargers, 17-10. Saints, 26-13, right? 49ers, 28-18. They've had some tough games this year. The Saints at one point were a contender at one point, right? Raiders, 27-20. Buccaneers, 30-24. So they can be scored on. They can be. I mean, and Baker Mayfield did it without Godwin and without Mike Evans. And he was able to kind of, put some pressure and some points on these boys. So the Bills absolutely can do it. They absolutely can do it. And is what it's going to come down to. Can you contain Mahomes? Can you just don't do bozo penalties to give him more extra, yardage that he really needs? Don't give him an extra down. We're going to have to play such disciplined ball to take down these Patriots, these damn Chiefs, that at one point, there's got to come a time where we've got to be the most disciplined ever. We can't. These people just continue to keep giving them stuff, right? There was a blatant hold. Brian Baldinger actually posted it on his show where I forgot who it was that was coming around the bend. The freaking tackle literally dragged that brother down and twisted him around. And Pat Mahomes was able to kind of convert a play. I was like, this is sickening. Absolutely sickening. So hopefully the Bills play good, disciplined football. We don't allow Pat Mahomes to get extra yardage when he doesn't really deserve it. And we got to really get after him. So, and they're one of the hated teams in the league, man. We just cannot have them come into your own turf and do what they need to do to the Bills. They just can't. We can't have that happen. So we're going to have to deal. Now, I will say this, though. We can poo-poo all over, the Bills are injured and this, that, and the third. So are the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just as banged up as we are. So I hope that, and I don't want to use it as an excuse at all. We're both banged up. So it's who's going to prevail. Both quarterbacks are playing. That's all that matters to anybody, right? He's throwing D-Hop. He finally just got D-Hop. If we can get Amari Cooper, that's a wash. And away we go. All right, so listen, man, I just can't wait. I can't wait for this game to happen. I'm excited for it. I'm not like, oh, here we go. I'm excited for this. And there's a lot of good football that's going to be this weekend. But this Bills-Chiefs game, man, I'm sure a lot of people had this thing circled on that damn board, ready to roll. So we'll see how it all shakes out in the end. If we can squeeze out a win, even better.
The only thing that's a bummer about where the Bills are banged up is, believe it or not, as good as this Chiefs defense has been, their vulnerability is in the pass game. They are on the wrong side of average in the majority of major categories, including their overall rate allowed to wide receivers. So if you would have had your full gamut of weapons here, and that also includes tight ends, by the way, they've struggled covering the tight ends. That would have been such a big advantage for the Bills. It just kind of sucks where they're banged up in this game, because they're banged up every year. It has never quite been like this, where it's been on the offensive side of things, and it's been the guys that Josh Allen is relying on. Now, in terms of those injuries, I'm not expecting Kincaid at this point, right? No practice today. Coleman already ruled out. It was encouraging to see, like you mentioned, that Amari Cooper was limited in practice today. I said this. I don't expect, if Cooper plays, and I'm getting to the point now where I think he's going to, at least I'm insanely hopeful that he is, or I'm insanely, what's the word? I'm basically begging him to play, I guess is the best way to put it. But I have a feeling he's going to play. I have said that I don't think him playing means he's going to be the difference on the stat sheet. I don't think he needs 10 targets, nor do I think he needs to have 80 yards and a touchdown for these Bills to win the game. Just having him out there to allow Josh Allen to create a bit more than he'd be able to without him out there, I think that goes a long way, because these Chiefs, they are the number one defense against the run. This isn't going to be one of those games where the Bills can kind of hide the fact that they're missing Kincaid and Coleman by allowing James Cook and Ray Davis to go off. But where they're amazing at the run, they're the opposite when it comes to short passing and when it comes to getting cooked on the blitz. They have one of the best pressure rates in the league, but when they blitz, they get smoked. And Josh Allen right now, I think he has an 11-0 touchdown to interception ratio on blitzes this year. This defense, like you mentioned, it can be scored on. But the problem I have is that where the Bills are banged up this weekend is kind of where you would find the Bills' ability to find an advantage against these Chiefs. But I think if Cooper can go, you get Shakir cooking in that short game where the Chiefs are vulnerable, it could go a long way. The decoy in itself, Rico, for me, in terms of Amari Cooper, I think that's a factor in this game, and I'm really hoping he's out there. So
when going into this game, where do you find yourself in terms of your thoughts? Like, you're obviously that you're confident going into this game, but like when you're going into this game, like what is it that you feel that these Bills need to do in order to prevail in this game? What stands out to you? What are you feeling that based on what we have, where are we leaning on? Are we leaning on the offense? Are you going to lean on this offense to make this run for us, this play for us, or is it more of the defense? Where is it that you're leaning towards to get your, I guess, your break, if you will?
You know what I did the other night?
Talk to me.
I must hate myself, but I rewatched the divisional game from last year in its entirety. Okay. I watched every single snap. Yeah,
really?
Bills Chiefs last year.
What possessed you to do that?
Because I'm just super excited. This is my favorite week of the year. I just love, like, win or lose. The fact that I, a Buffalo Bills fan, have the equivalent, or at least this modern day equivalent of the Brady Manning saga, like, that is insane to me. The fact that we are in smack dab in the middle of this, I just can't get enough of it. This is as good as it gets in sports. And I happen to have I want to die type investment in it one way or the other. We love watching great sports. I'm sure we all do. But it's a hell of a lot different when you are as invested in it as we are as Bills fans. I just can't get enough of it. I love it. So that's the best way to put my excitement would be, I went back and rewatched that game to get a little bit more jazzed. So I'm rewatching that game, Rico. The Bills offense could not have played better if they tried. Looking back on the narrative after that game, where they went against they went against their game plan, right? They didn't allow Josh Allen to kind of cook, right? Bills getting destroyed in the media the next day about the coaching, whatever. You go back and watch that game offensively, the Bills absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. Dominated. They bullied the Chiefs defense. And it's not like the Chiefs defense magically became good this year. The Chiefs defense is the reason, in my opinion, that they wound up winning the Super Bowl last year. This Bills offensive line destroyed them last year. They just weren't able to do it. And of course, as it always comes down to against these Chiefs, the couple of moments that wound up being the biggest, including Chris Jones getting his hands on Josh Allen on that final throw there. They ran the ball impeccably. First down was turning into 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 2 religiously. And Josh Allen played as good of a game as you'll ever see. And he's done that routinely against these Chiefs. So I'm
39
rewatching
carries for 182 yards. Yep.
Dude, Rico, if you go back and watch, and I'm not saying you got to rewatch the whole thing, but you could just pick a drive that the Bills had in that game. You watch the dominance of the trenches. The reason the Bills lost that game, it's the same reason I felt right after, the same reason I feel right now. It was their inability. The Chiefs were scoring instantaneously. It was their inability to shut down Travis Kelce. It was their inability to shut down an offense that really hadn't found its footing until they got into the playoffs. The Bills defense going into this game, I understand they still don't have Matt Milano, but they're way healthier currently than they were the last time that these Chiefs came to town. And the Bills offensively, in that game, Stephon Diggs had probably his worst game as a Bill. So that's not a factor. Gabe Davis did not play in that game. So that's not a factor. The Bills essentially, when it comes down to what they're trotting out here Sunday with injuries, they essentially have the same squad offensively going out there on Sunday. So I know I mentioned it. It's not going to be easy to run the ball. The Chiefs defense, one of the best, or is the best in the league currently. They were still up there last year and they were able to do it. What I'm getting at is, from what I saw in that game, I think the biggest difference here is I think that the Bills defense will not be the sieve that it was in that previous game in the divisional round. The offense, to the majority of the degrees you'd hope it would be at, is the same. And I think that is going to be the difference, as I thought it would be last year. If the Bills were fully stocked on defense, or at least more than they were, Travis Kelce isn't going to be wide open for a touchdown. They're not going to be able to score immediately after halftime. I think that that's the difference. So what I'm looking at in this game is for the offense to put together a performance like they've done against these Chiefs, but the defense to have the ability to step up like they have all throughout the year here and kind of keep the Chiefs at where they've been all year, Rico, because these Chiefs are averaging 17 points a game. They scored 16 last week in a win. They can be held off the scoreboard. I think the Bills have the defense to do it this weekend that they didn't have in the divisional last year.
So you believe in the Bills defense?
I do in this game. I absolutely do.
I'm not opposed to what you're saying, because when I go back to what we did last year, last year divisional round game, we defensively we weren't as bad as we thought. I mean, but they also were converting on almost everything. They went, I'm looking back at it. You got me now looking back, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went 1 for 5 on third downs, but they also only punted one time in the game. And that punt came in near the end of the game where we got the ball back, marched the ball up. You know the drill because you just watched it. So you relived it. And then, I mean, I'm not even going to go say it, but you know what the end result was, right? 1 for 5 for third downs. Then I'm like, all right, what do we do? Pretty much dead even. 361 is the total offense, 368 total offense for the Bills, right? Here's the problem, though. We were allowing 7.7 yards a pop to these boys. They were getting chunk yards. They weren't hitting on third downs. It was first down after first down after first down.
Well, they only had 5 third downs. Think about how crazy that is. 5 third downs the whole game. That's insane.
It's insane. We were giving up way too much in big chunks, and they were scoring rather quickly. And it's not like he had an absolute stellar game. 215 yards passing. Nothing crazy, right? That's Pat Mahomes. So it really is going to come down to, and we had 37 minutes of possession.
Oh my God. They dominated the football game, Rico. If you go back and watch.
I feel like I said this very time last year. We had 37 minutes. Anyway, but it's crazy to me. 37 minutes. We held the clock, but that was the strategy. Keep Mahomes on the sideline, and let's do what we need to do to run the football and get to it. And I'm looking at the box score, like, how do we do running the ball? 182 yards rushing, 61 yards for James Cook off of 18 carries, and then Josh Allen, 12 for 72. Oh, man.
Oh, and they were running. I mean, they were running him too, and it was beautiful, like designed plays. That might be the most dominant rushing performance I've ever seen from this team, outside of course, what they did to the Dallas Cowboys last year, because that was absurd what they did to the Cowboys last year. But we know that they're susceptible to getting ran on because everyone runs on the Cowboys. You watch that game, though, Rico, the physicality against the Chiefs defense that is as good as they are. I mean, these boys were grinding out there. If you listen to Tony Romo back on that broadcast, you can just tell by his overall aura, he was convinced it was just not the Chiefs' day. He kept talking about, man, this is going to be a problem for the Chiefs. This is going to be a problem for the Chiefs. And it was, the only problem was what happened. The Bills were scoring nearly every drive they had the ball, as soon as they stalled out once, it changed the whole complexion of the game because they had to keep pace. The Chiefs' offense was not being shut down, as you just mentioned, punted only once and only 5 third downs.
And this is why when Coach McDermott mentions complementary football, this is what he means. Like if the offense is rolling, obviously they're going to keep rolling, but like you said, they had to keep pace because we couldn't stop the Kansas City Chiefs. So when we're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, bro, something had to give. But what I want to ask you is this: if offense wasn't the issue, and obviously we weren't stopping them defensively, which we understand why. What did you notice rewatching the game was the reason we lost?
Damn. Well, I'll say this, and it's one thing back to my point earlier that I find to be a major difference in this upcoming game. Teron Johnson was a game time decision. Probably would not have played in that game if it weren't a playoff game. Rasul Douglas was completely banged up. Same situation. Bamford, no go. Bernard, obviously, not out there.
Bamford wasn't playing that game?
No, I don't believe Bamford played in that game. You obviously had no Bernard. We won't have Milano on Sunday, but you have Bernard. That right there in itself is a major difference. But the reason I think, and you can check me on that, I'm pretty sure Bamford didn't play.
Oh my gosh, it was Dane Jackson.
Yes, exactly. I mean, think about that. You got the best slot corner in the league potentially in Teron Johnson, a game time decision, right? And then you have Bamford, who's been extraordinary for these Bills, one of the best. He's not out there. You had AJ Klein out there. I mean, think about how different that is. And as you just mentioned the stats, the Bills went blow for blow in terms of offensive statistics against a defense that was 5 times better than what the Bills trotted out there last year. The reason that they lost, they could not stop Travis Kelce. He had not scored a touchdown going into that game in like 2 full months, and he had 2 of them in that game. That was the ultimate difference. One of them, he was so wide open, you could have literally, Mahomes could have thrown that ball to the moon, waited for it to come back down to earth, and he still would have caught it. That's how wide open he was. The other major difference in that game, the amount of drops. And I hate to go back to the Stephon Diggs drop, but he was not the only one. There were multiple drops in that football game that wound up being very costly for Buffalo. Josh Allen, the fact that and you know my thoughts on this, as I think most people have, the fact that he gets shit on for not beating the Chiefs is insane. He played out of his mind in that game, made some of the best throws you'll see, and there were 3 drops in that game that were huge, absolutely massive, and it wound up changing the complexion of the game. So I think it was the banged up defense, because you can't say that wasn't the reason they lost. They had 37 minutes of time of possession to their 23, nearly a full quarter more with the ball, and they still couldn't outscore them. That right there is a reflection of what they trotted out there. But then offensively, they literally had to score pretty much every drive in that game if they wanted to win. There were a couple moments in that game, a couple of drops, and then the Chris Jones play that really wound up being the biggest difference. All it took was a small margin for the Chiefs to get out on top, and that's exactly what happened.
Does it sound like we're making excuses right now?
For last year?
Yeah.
I mean, this is where I have a struggle. I have a struggle with that narrative. I hate excuses. There's a difference between an excuse and a fact. The fact is, last year, like I said, Teron Johnson, game time decision. Rasul Douglas banged up. No Bamford, no Bernard. The fact is that was reality. The fact going into this weekend, it's the complete opposite. Bamford's out there. Teron Johnson's healthy. Bernard's out there. So that's not an excuse. It's a fact. If that team, the Buffalo Bills defense, if last year they had what they're trotting out here this upcoming Sunday, I've said this 1,000 times before. I'm not saying the Bills win, but you can't tell me that the Chiefs in 24 or 23 minutes of possession time go up and down the field the way they did while only having to face 5 third downs the entire football game.
Bro, I'm looking at the receiving, and there's a point being made here. Walter always keeping us on our toes, as always. Right. we love to see it. He goes, hey, notice how none of the injuries you mentioned were on the defensive line? We're quick to talk injuries, but don't talk about the lackluster pass catchers we were lining up against the bounce to balance things out, like MVS. Now, let me touch on that for a little bit, because he does prove a point. because I'm looking at what the Kansas City Chiefs brought out. Although we were banged up, they brought out Travis Kelce. Obviously, he's a dog, Hall of Famer. Okay, let's not scoff at that. Number one, Marquez Valdez-Scantling playing on his 4th team right now, 15 probably, right? Rashee Rice, and then they had Pacheco obviously catching, not really much, but they're leading. They had 17 completions, which is so wild to me. 17 completions, and the game ended the way it ended because of that. But big thing that stands out is Pacheco had 15 carries for 97 yards, 6.5 yards a pop. Like we weren't stopping anything in the run game. That's where we lost. Now, the reason I was bringing up all these other things too, and everybody wants to talk about it, then they talked about it. When McDermott decided to go for the 4th down and fake run with Damar Hamlin. Was it that game? Was it the division game? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, it was.
Okay. Did that have bearings? Did you feel that had bearings on the game and deflated? I know you're watching the game all over again. So was that point, because a lot of people want to say, McDermott's the one who lost us the game. Was it the case? Would you say that had anything to do with the way the game went out?
Not at all. Jordan Poyer forces the fumble out of the back of the end zone that very next drive. Now, had he not done that, 1,000,000%. The play after the fake punt, they got the ball down to the 3-yard line. So if they would not have forced that fumble, which watching it back, I forgot how close it was. If there wasn't that camera angle, there's not a shot in hell they get that ball. I mean, Rico, I'm talking like you would have to pull an eyelash out and put it between the Crazy. MVS's knee and the ground. That's how close it was. So no, revisionist history. Everyone wants to look back at that play, which was, by the way, just god awful. I mean, in the moment too, the Bills were playing so well offensively. It was not necessary to make that play in that moment. Like watching it back, it was even worse. I feel like the anxiety of the moment at the time, because I was at the game, I was so anxious.
Yeah.
You
were at the game.
Yeah, of course. I was there. And it felt like in the moment, I kind of like, I hated the call, but I understood why he wanted to do a fake. It was just so poorly executed. Watching it back, the offense had played so well up until that point. If you wanted to go for it there was no reason in the world to have done it the way that they did it. But to answer your question, no, it had no bearing on that game whatsoever. It wasn't even a factor in why the Bills lost that game.
Because at the moment, it was all the talk of the town. Why did McDermott's who sabotaged him? He had all the momentum, just punt the ball back, but the defense wasn't playing well enough. As a head coach, you got to make a decision. My defense is not playing well enough. I need to try something. And he tried that. It failed. We got the ball back miraculously. I don't even know how Jordan Poyer somehow was able to knock that thing out. And here we go. It's out of the end zone. But nonetheless, going back, I'm glad it's always good to rewatch games to kind of watch with a different lens to see, okay, what did I miss here? Right. And as a coach, you probably beat yourself up after the game, answer questions from the media and go on. And you got to lay your head on your pillow, okay, and say, what could I have done differently? I think I would have done everything. Maybe I would have just put the right person in the right spot to do this and do that. But at the end of the day, we were banged up at the worst positions, and they took advantage of it.
You know what's crazy about what you just said, though? You know what's crazy about what you just said? Because I literally asked myself this question afterwards. What could you have done differently?
What could you have done?
The only thing that they could have done differently. And I can't say catch the ball because obviously your intention is to catch the ball, right? But you didn't wind up catching it. So you can't say, oh, you should have done this differently. Like you tried to do it, you just couldn't do it. The only thing, Rico, that I walked away from that saying they could have done differently, Josh Allen hitting Stephon Diggs on that crossing route to get the first down instead of going to Khalil Shakir in the end zone. It is the only thing offensively that they could have done differently. Outside of that, it was a masterclass by Josh Allen, Joe Brady in that run game and that offensive line. I'm sorry. It was a phenomenal performance. That defense couldn't stop a damn thing.
That play, I'll tell you right now, that play haunts me because I'm watching this. I was like, dude, you know better. Hit him right there in stride. He gets it. He goes out of bounds. First down, probably. Even if he doesn't get first down, we have time.
Bingo. You don't. And then Tyler Bass's field goal is like 30 yards as well if you don't get in the end zone. And you take it down to probably 30 seconds left or less. It was such it. And the thing of it is you're watching it and you're watching it in real time. He looked at him and looked away. Now, granted, Shakir was open, and you got to, and this is the difference. This is the Chiefs' difference. This is what I talk about all the time. It's like on Sunday against the Broncos. They blocked the kick. Everyone says it's lucky and whatever, and yeah, it's the Chiefs, and yeah, they did sell their soul to some, I don't even know, man, some alien or some shit. It's unbelievable. It's 100% true. They definitely did that. But what they got from that was this superpower, and the superpower is the ability to make the biggest play of the game in the biggest moment. Chris Jones getting after Allen. Shakir is wide open. Allen was on the money all night long. It's probably a touchdown. In 99 other alternate universes, that wasn't reality. So,
when you bring this up to me, fuck it. I got to bring it. I got to find it because it sickens me because that was such a great play by Chris Jones. Such a great play by Chris Jones. You can't even fault the man. But you're also thinking, Josh, you're cooking, baby. You're cooking. You went for the whole thing. And sometimes, how do you fault someone for going for the whole thing? Go for the gusto. Go for it. Go for the win.
I know. And before you want to blame Dawkins, and before people want to blame Dawkins for getting blown up on that play, which he did, that offensive line was nails all game long. Phenomenal all game long. So once again, it was just Chris Jones, an all-pro player. Maybe Josh Allen said it today in his presser. Probably the best defensive lineman in the league. Right? He just made the play. He made the play. I mean, right now, Deion Dawkins is one of the best tackles in the game. He just made the play. And they do that every damn time. But if you're pulling up that play, Rico, to watch it again, I'm telling you right now, Stephon Diggs is wide open, and Chris Jones would never have touched down if he had just gotten rid of it and went with him. And
as I'm looking for it now, so I just need to see it. Like, it just kills me, bro. It kills me because that very play was the difference maker. That was the difference maker. That gets us into past the Chiefs. We don't have to talk about anything else. It's game over. But here we, man. I'll get going. But
well, and to this point though, about what we're talking about here in these moments. Yeah. So in 2007, right, the MVP year for Brady, maybe one of the greatest offensive years of all time in the league. The Patriots go 16-0 with Randy Moss. They were destroying teams. I mean, they were absolutely dismantling teams to the point where it felt like everyone else was in the USFL and the Patriots just so happened to be relegated down for a year. And they were also the best team in the NFL that got to play against, the worst of the worst, essentially. In 2007, Rico, let me just list this off for you, okay? These were just a handful of games that they had. They won a game 56-10. They won another game 52-7. They won another game 49-28, 38-14. They were one of the most dominant offenses in the history of the league. People compare them to the Patriots all the time, and the overall aura is certainly comparable. The way that the Chiefs win is night and day compared to what that team was, because right now the Chiefs are undefeated, as was that Patriots team. It's night and day. It's night and day. Every week they play either the Broncos or the Ravens the exact same way, and the result is the exact same every time. It's one or two plays, and they get it done. And that, folks, is why they're pursuing a third straight championship, because those are the moments you need in the playoffs, and they practice it every week in real time.
Listen, bro. Thank you, and thank you for bringing this back up, because you've opened some wounds. Because I thought it was over, but it still kind of irks me a little bit. But it is always nice to go back and have a look-see. And I'm about to, I think I found it coming up shortly. So I'm going to open this up. Man, oh man, is what I want to say, because listen, we love this team. We love this team. We're diehard fans. Well, boy, does it hurt sometimes when you see certain things and you're like, how do we not take full advantage of it, right? And I remember being on pins and needles watching this, and you're watching all this stuff, and this throw here.
That play was so big, such a great play,
so big, right? And you're moving the ball up, and time's ticking. It's 3rd and 9, right? And you're trying to make something happen. And Josh is looking. He's trying to make something happen. Everybody's trying to get open. You got something here. You got something here, but you need the first down, right? And Josh is looking. He's looking for the gusto. Can't find anything. Has to throw it away. And this is where Tyler Bass comes in. Try to make things happen. But that's not what I wanted to say. That's not what I want to show you. Because I'm trying to locate.
No, you had it. Just go to the play before that. Well, the play right before what you just played. Yep.
Perfect. Because I thought I had it. So let's
go forward a little bit. No, it's going to take a while. Go right back to where you were.
Give or take around this part. You said right before this one. You say right?
No, it's going to be a ways up. It's at around the 2 minute mark.
Oh, so
they got keep like you're
okay. I see.
Where that little bump is. You see that bump on the right there? No, the play before this.
Give me this one here.
No, it's the second down play. The play before this.
Oh, it's the second down. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me get it. So this is the first down. I'll let this roll out.
Oh wait, they skip over it. That's why I think I don't think they show it. That's why you didn't get it. Why would they not? How could they not have that in the? It was a play of the game.
We're sick to our stomach when it comes to that. I'll try to find it, but that's not the point. The reason I bring this up, and I see my man Bart texting Rico, my heart rate was 198. Golly, we were all at 198. So I bring this up because going into this game, you're not thinking to myself, okay. And I thank you for this because you've kind of put a little bit of more fire under this because we're much healthier going into this than we were last year. We had such crucial guys that are hurt. We had guys that, like, if I could, I would have gave my damn left foot to Bernard so he can play.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll take your pain. You go in there and get your business going. But we're just a couple plays from making such a difference. Now going into this game, I think Josh being more mature and not having to worry about he knows what's at stake here. Bro, I think he's got a lot to prove this game. Which now brings me to my thing here. Is there more pressure on do you feel like Josh is going to put more pressure on himself to try to get this done so that there's a bit of motivation going into following weeks? Or do you think they're looking at it's one game, man? We're making the playoffs. We're 4 games ahead of everybody in the AFC East. It's one game. We lose this game, no big deal. We're going to get them in the playoffs. We got to. I'm looking at it like this. If we lose this game, I'm looking at to take all the intel from this game, right? What did they do? What can we do? Because I feel essentially that's what the Chiefs do to us every time. We win in the regular season, and they take whatever we decided to do, and then they use against us in the playoffs, and we're 0-3 against them. I wonder if this matters as much to the Bills and to Josh as it would if it were in the playoffs. Obviously, it's different in the playoffs, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, does he care about this game as much as we as fans do? What do you think?
Both he and Teron Johnson were asked about this ad nauseum today when they met with the media, and both of them said no. Now,
it's just another game.
Yes, exactly. Now, everyone says that all the time. Right? Part of me believes them because I don't know. They obviously want to win every game.
Right.
But it's not going to be to the level at which a playoff game is. And Allen pretty much said, he goes, we haven't beaten them in the playoffs because somebody asked him about his numbers against the Chiefs and how they're really good and they compare with Mahomes. And he just said, we can't get it done in the playoffs. And I think that's why it might not seem as big as it does to us, the Bills-Chiefs rivalry, because it's not a playoff game. The Bills know that they can beat them in the regular season. They're 3-1 against them in the regular season. Now, anyone who's played sports, you all know that when you go out there for certain games, you are way more fired up for certain games than you are for others based on the metrics and the overall, storylines or whatever going into it. Like if we played our rival back in the day in high school, our crosstown rival, it was different that week. And even though my team absolutely blew, we were still excited as all hell for it because you're playing, the team that is across the town from you. That's your biggest rivalry. So they can say that it doesn't matter more all they want. Of course it matters more. This game right here, if you don't think that they're more fired up for this game than playing the Tennessee Titans, then you're wrong. But I do think that they're not as fired up as maybe we are because they know that they're 8-2 right now. You'd have to bet $25,000 right now to win 100 on them to win the AFC East. They know that they're set up right now. They want to get this team in the postseason. Real quick, we go back to my point. Chiefs, Patriots. I just looked this up and I have to share it. just to give you an idea of how beatable. And by the way, I am saying this with the knowledge, and I feel like I don't have to say this at this point. If you've watched me long enough, you know the respect I have for the Chiefs. In fact, I get called a Chiefs glazer all the damn time. So you know the respect I have for the Chiefs. But just to give you an idea of how beatable they actually are, and you also factor in the Bills beating them 3 out of 4 tries in the regular season. Right now, Rico, through 9 games, obviously the Chiefs are 9-0. They currently have the worst point differential in NFL history after starting with that many wins consecutively. They have a 58 point differential. Okay. To compare that back to the 07 Patriots, because we love to compare the Chiefs and the Patriots, and that's when the Patriots went undefeated. Right now, Rico, the Chiefs are averaging 17 points a game offensively. Their average margin of victory per game through the first 9 weeks is 6.4. The 2007 Patriots averaged 37 points per game. Their average margin of victory, Rico, was 20. That's how different it is. And it just goes to show you how beatable they are, but how amazing they are at getting it done in those very minor moments that wind up being the biggest difference. How crazy is that?
That's the beauty of football, man. Game of inches, game of plays. And by the way, here's the play right here. We want to talk about game of inches and plays.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Chris Jones at the top of your screen. This guy is a menace. And this is what Chris Jones gives the Kansas City Chiefs is what I yearn for from anybody on this freaking defensive front. When push comes to shove, who makes something happen? Is 2nd and 9, 2 minutes left on the clock. Bro, the Bills are marching. The Bills are getting it in play. I was excited. We're going for it. And here comes Chris Jones. I got to take this stupid caption nonsense on there because I hate when they do that. I hate when they have the subtitle. Why put those on there? Just annoying as heck.
Oh, like when you muted it, defaults to it.
Oh, is that what it is? It doesn't matter. Here we go.
It probably is. So watch the middle of your screen.
I am. So he brings in Stephon Diggs here. He says, "Come on in, Steph." So there's Steph right there. Oh my God.
Watch, he gets even more open. Watch, let it go a couple frames. Look at that. Look at that. He gets that ball probably to the 15 minimum. Then it's a 30-yard field goal if they literally just took a knee the rest of the way.
But it's not a bad attempt.
He has him. Look how open he is.
Oh my gosh.
And once again, it is the one moment. This was the moment.
That hurts. It hurts.
Oh, it'll never not hurt. I don't think that this moment, this right here, this play does not get talked about enough in terms of the trajectory that could have changed for the Bills franchise in terms of its history. This play does not get talked about enough.
You know what, though? Honestly, like, yo, Dion, I need you, bro. I need you. You know who's across from you. You know who's across from you, man. Anchor down. Buckle up, man.
And the thing is, he did, Rico, for 58 minutes. But you also got to remember the Chiefs needed Chris Jones. Oh, and that's the difference. They just do it.
Jeez.
But man, Diggs, he could have been the hero. And you want to know what's different? Does Diggs leave the Bills if they make that play? And like, who knows? I don't know. I mean, so many things could have been different right there in this one moment.
He just walks him right into him. And like, what do you want Josh to do? Like, Josh, do you adjust yourself? Do you need to? You shouldn't have to. I mean, I need my Allen buckle up, make a play, hold it down. I got you. Just hold your water, guys.
God. Oh my God Almighty.
Oh man.
And you want to know what? In that moment too, not only is the Diggs the smarter play because it was wide open and it's the easier throw. There was 2 minutes on that clock. The way the Chiefs offense was playing, they're probably going down and scoring a touchdown. So going for it all there, I know hindsight's 20/20, but
it is.
As Walter's saying, Walter literally reading my mind, but that was the right play. And you understand why Allen wanted to go for it all, but
I get it. I get it. Listen, and if you were to ask Allen, would you change your mind? Would you have taken the under? He probably said, no, what I wanted was right there. I just got nudged. And he just got nudged just a little off. And he's going in there and throws everything off. And there it is. There it is. Khalil did his job. It was just a matter. And you know what really bugs me in this game? When I go back to it, I look at who was available for Josh. I don't see Gabe Davis on that list at all.
He didn't play.
He did play.
No, he didn't. There was no Gabe Davis.
He was hurt that? No.
Yeah. And you know who had one of the biggest drops of the entire game? Like, it was a game-changing drop. It literally altered everything. Trent Sherfield. Do you remember that throw down the field, the left sideline, and it was lower to the ground, and he caught it, and then it came out of his hands?
He was
in the field. Dude, there were a couple drops in that game that could have been. I mean, that's what sucks about that play right there that we just watched, is Allen played literally MVP football for 58 minutes, and it was the one play that he didn't make that wound up being the one that probably lost him the game.
Well, and here's the third down play, right? So like, all right, we didn't get it on. We didn't get the play that we wanted on third down. I didn't like this play design. I didn't like anything about it. And this was like, I think we were deflated at this point. Like, what do we got here? So who we got? We got Hardy. Is that Hardy on the outside?
Probably.
We got Steph here. He always has his chin strap out. You got Kincaid here, Khalil here. So you got trips with your best three receivers here. And I think this is Deontay Hardy here. You bring in Kincaid. Here we go. Josh is looking downfield. I already don't like it. I already don't like it. You got this guy breaking outside. They're sitting on top. This was doing like that play before was it. That was it. You got Kincaid breaking here, but you got this guy here. He's going to take him. It's tough, man. It's tough. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is doomed. So Josh rolls out, doing everything he can to say, like, what do we got? Maybe here. Like, but I think Josh at this point is going for the win. Maybe Buddy over here on the corner, but Josh is at this point, I'm going for it. And to nobody. Ugh, tough. Boy.
Hey, by the way, Kermit, look, if you're going to come in and troll us, which I don't blame you. If I was a Chiefs fan, I'd be doing the same. I do it to the Dolphins and the Jets all the time. Now, I don't go to other channels and do it, but I don't blame you for doing it. You see us talking Bills, Chiefs. I don't blame you for hopping in here and letting us have it. But if you're going to do it a little intelligently. Don't say things that are completely false. Josh Allen's playoff stats, 100 passer rating, 2,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Get him.
If you're going to rip on us for the 13 seconds moment, or that moment that we just showed right there, to say this. Come on, you have the ability to rip on us. You have the ability to jump all over us. You have the ability to jump all over everyone. You're a Chiefs fan. If you're going to do it, though, come on. Do it with some intelligence, because you have all the ammo in the world. To use that as one of your bullets, that's a wasted bullet right there.
Well, you seem like you had it for Kermit. You've dealt with Kermit before?
No, I'm just seeing him in here, and it's just like, man, like, I understand coming in here and letting us have it. It's got to be great. Like, think about what we talk about with the Dolphins all the time. It's hilarious. That's how they feel about us.
Yeah.
But if the Dolphins had Tua putting up Hall of Fame numbers against us every time we still beat him, you wouldn't hear me talking about Tua.
Now, the big thing now going into this game, we could talk about how beat up both teams are, and literally we are. We're beat up. We got there's a few things that we gotta get down pat here. And let me just have a look, see how many guys they're gonna be missing this game. If they even tells me, no, not, oh, there it goes, injuries. Because I know they got some guys banged up missing in this game. So Juju's questionable. He could be coming back. He was a practice participant in on Wednesday, so they get their big slot receiver in. So that's going to be a big one for them. Defensive end, Charles Omenihu, he's going to be out. He's unlikely to play against us, so that's a big blow for them. Pacheco, obviously, his window's open, but he won't play. Chances are he's not going to play. So they're dealing with some banged up guys themselves. All right, Sky Moore being out, he's on injured reserve. Obviously, Hollywood Brown injured reserve as well. He could be on his way back. So I mean, listen, they've got a lot of players banged up the same way we do. So now it's just a matter of execution. We got to execute. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. By the way, we got Fluffy Panda that came in and wanted to make a comment here. Fluffy Pen has been with us, man, 48 months, man. I appreciate that. That's love, man. I wish I was delusional about the Bills as Nick Wright is about the Chiefs. Can we even have a 1v1 versus Chiefs instead of 1v2 versus twos all the time? I assume that you're talking about the refs and stuff. Listen, man. We got to deal with it, man. The same way every team's got to deal, we got to deal with it too, man. I mean, what side the refs decide to go on, what are we going to do about that? Cam Minkar says, will there be anyone from BF at the tailgate at the game?
I wish.
I can't say I'll be there, and Z-Bot's going to be at a wedding. He'll be back for the game, but nobody from BF. But Cam, if you're going to the game, man, enjoy it. Root hard for the squad, man. My man Led Robster, he goes, hey, what's going on? Excuse me, let me. What is going to happen this weekend, and why is it going to be a Bills W? And listen, he's feeling confident. Later that night, we are going to have a dance party with Rico and Bot. Let me tell you, I'm going to dance my little ass off.
Oh, buddy. I won't be able to breathe. I'll have to get the defibs out and literally bring myself back to life after what I do.
Hey,
I'll tell you what. I'm going to be literally panting, sweating.
Absolutely, as we should. Members of the best channel on YouTube, by the way, my real name is Mitch. My name is Mitch. Lifetime Mitch, my guy. We appreciate you. Now, I can't call you Led Robster anymore, man. It's gonna be Money Mitch.
I love Led Robster, though. It's so hard for me to say. It's like doing the L with the R.
I know.
He's really tough.
Well, it's perfect because he says call him Mitch. So, Mitch, we got you, brother. We got you.
Hey, Rico, here's something to look out for in this game.
What you got?
Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins himself is a threat, and we've seen him be, a pivotal aspect of what the Chiefs have been utilizing the last couple of weeks to get victories. He had a huge catch against the Broncos to move the chains and wound up getting them the points that they needed to take the lead, and it wound up being the difference. Right. And then, of course, he had 2 touchdowns against the Bucs. But what has happened here? The correlation between Travis Kelce's numbers and DeAndre Hopkins being on the team, pretty vivid. Ever since DeAndre Hopkins has joined the team, which was back against the Raiders a couple weeks ago,
right?
Here's Travis Kelce's stat lines. 10 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. 14 catches, a career high, and 100 yards. 8 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown. He's had his 3 best games of the whole year ever since DeAndre Hopkins has joined this team. Travis Kelce is starting to hit a stride that this offense, of course, needs him to be on in order for them to win in the playoffs, similar to what they had last year. He didn't do much of anything at the end of the year, couldn't get in the end zone, couldn't get him the ball on a consistent basis. And what happened in the playoffs? He wound up rising to the top as they always seem to do. But I just noticed that ever since Hopkins has joined the team, Travis Kelce's been back to MVP form.
See, I made this point yesterday. I was trying to avoid it, and you decided to go up and open up a wound for me. And you got me in here. So you know what? Good on you, Bot, because it let me read this comment first. But my guy Mario comes in and says, he goes, I love listening to Bot. It's like he drank a 5th and smoked 5 cigars before the show. What's good? What's good, Mario? What's happening? You got me in my feelings now, man. You got me in my feelings because I'm annoyed and frustrated. And Walter he'll be sitting there clapping his hands saying this, because I'm gonna say this, man. I think when we drafted Kincaid, we had all the intentions of making him a Travis Kelce-like player. Give Josh Allen his blanket. And we've got talent on this receiver squad. We do. We brought Amari Cooper in. We brought in Curtis Samuel. We drafted Keon. We have Khalil Shakir. This would tell you everything you need to know about how Kincaid's going to have a great year. And you go back and look at his You go back and look at his damn statistics. You can't just be watching the box score, Rico. I will, and I am. Why? Because I look at all the other damn tight ends in this game, and I'm seeing them flourish. And then I asked myself, I was talking to my brother the other day, and I was talking to my man, Andrew Lipson, my neighbor, right? Both Bills fans. He comes through, and we got to talking, and he irked me, and I pissed myself off by saying, "Yo, could you imagine?" And I'm going to put you on the spot because I did this to myself yesterday, and I annoyed the hell out of me. Put Kincaid with Kyler Murray. Put Kincaid with Joe Burrow. Put Kincaid with Tua Tagovailoa. Put Kincaid with, give me another quarterback that's Lamar Jackson. Put Kincaid, you know what I'm saying, alongside Jared Goff with Sam LeBron. Like, put Kincaid, bro. Every bro, they'll flourish with this guy. And we sitting here bullshitting by giving him 5 catches for 60 yards, and that's calling it. Bro, he should be having these games of 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, that's the type of athlete this guy is. So what the hell's the problem? What the hell's the problem? It's starting to bug me now. Because I'll tell you right now, they would not waste any time when you put him with any of those. Look at freaking Mike Gesicki. Is Mike Gesicki on the level of Kincaid? Heck no. Bro, Burrow would use the hell out of this guy, man. But we sitting here, I can't understand why we can't unleash Kincaid. We haven't been able to. Have you seen us been able to unleash him? No. This year alone, he's got his best statistical game is 60 yards, less than 60 yards. Bro, I'm sick of it. And now he's hurt. We can't even utilize him. I don't want to hear that he can't separate. Yes, the heck he can. Yes, the hell he can. Don't tell me he can't separate. He has every ability to separate. Separation is scheme. No, man. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I hear that's excuses. Excuses. Don't tell me he can't. You mean to tell me Trey McBride is a much better receiver and tight end and can separate better than Kincaid can? Do you see how smooth that brother is, man? That brother was wide the fuck open. Wide open. And Allen misses him. Hey, can you do me a favor? What's Allen's statistics going downfield? What's his deep ball percentage?
Oh, I don't know the percentage, but I know in terms of efficiency, it's bottom barrel of the league.
Is it bottom barrel?
Oh yeah.
So
I got it for you right here, Rico.
I just gotta give, and this is no shade. It just pisses me off because we have all these weapons, so-called weapons, and we treating them like you might as well just give Kincaid to somebody else and just use Dawson Knox. Might as well just do that. Might as well, because that's how we treating Kincaid. He's like a Dawson Knox, and I'm not even hating on Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is athletic as shit. We sat next to the man. The boy's a big boy. He can move.
He's a big boy.
He can move. But we drafted Kincaid for a reason in the first round. And we utilizing him like he's some middle of the tier tight end. Bro, I swear you could put him anywhere else and he'll light up. Yeah, it just pisses me off, man. I don't want to go here.
Bottom barrel was a bit of a stretch, but it's less than average. It's at 17th, and that's just the efficiency.
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, not bottom of the barrel. It was worse. I don't know why the number has gone up because I don't remember anything that would have changed it significantly. It was way worse than that a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know what the hell changed. But regardless, they're below average, and Josh Allen might have the best arm in the league. So I don't know what the excuse is. To your point.
Hold on. Allen is never going to force anything. He learned the lesson with Diggs. What does that mean? He's not going to force anything. So what? He's just going to take dump offs? Is that why we brought Allen to take dump offs now? And I know that's not what you're saying. Clearly, I know that's not what you're saying. He's being smarter with the football, but that doesn't mean neglect and not your high-powered people. So when it comes down, so let me tell you this: when it comes down, we're year 2 with Kincaid. He goes into year 3. He gives us similar numbers. Now we got to make a decision on what do we do with Kincaid. Are we going to sign him to astronomical numbers and make him the highest paid tight end because we want to keep him? Because that's what Bills fans do. And Bills fans, we lament to try to keep our guys. We don't want to let him go. Let's try to keep him. Sign him, bro. Give me the numbers, bro. I need some, man. First round draft pick, bro. I need that. Give me that, man. We should have just went elsewhere if that was the case.
Yeah, that's the thing,
man.
So to this whole conversation here, I don't know how much of it is on him. I mean, in reality, they really do not put an emphasis on getting him the ball. And then when there's the moments to try to get him the ball, you saw the overthrow against the Colts. That was a walk-in touchdown 99% of the time. You go back to the game against the Dolphins. He had 10 targets, which was a season high. And if you go, I watched live on here a couple of episodes ago, I watched all 10 targets. On almost every one, Allen either threw it at his feet or he got blitzed to the point where he had to throw it away, or he got tipped at the line twice, targeting Kincaid. There seems to be no overall emphasis on it. It's hard for me to complain when this team's averaging 30 points a game. That's the odd thing here. I don't know why there isn't more emphasis on it, but because of that, that's why going into this game Sunday, I'm not like completely torn apart about not having Kincaid out there because I think Knox can give you similar production based on the way that they've been using Kincaid throughout the year here. I don't really know what it is. And to your point, I don't know why you exhaust a first-round pick on him if he doesn't seem to be a centerpiece of your overall offensive game plan.
So, I got people telling me, I know he leads the league in targets. Leads the team in targets. He's got 59 targets. I know. I did the math. Yeah, I was doing this yesterday, folks. I understand that. But with the amount of targets that he's getting, we should be getting way more production, is what I'm saying. So what the hell's the problem? Don't tell me he can't get separation because he can. So what the hell's the problem? Are we not scheming enough something for him? Like, we should be making him a focal point. We knew that Keon was going to take some time to develop because he's a rookie. We got Kincaid in his second year, man. Like, something's got to give. I get it. Josh doesn't want to force the ball. Josh doesn't want to throw any interceptions. We get it. But I tell you right now, once crunch time comes in, when we're about to face the damn Kansas City Chiefs, when we're about to face the Detroit Lions, when we're about to face these teams that can put points on the board, and we're not doing what we're supposed to do, we go, listen, you're going to come back to this video right here and be like, yo, what? I guess Weaker he was saying something, and we should be utilizing this guy more.
It's pretty wild he leads the team in targets. I would not have guessed that, but I guess the majority of targets, it's either very short, very, very short yardage, and that's why the overall numbers aren't there. But like I said, it seems to be far too often when he is targeted, something just seems to go wrong. And I don't know exactly why that is.
It's tough. I mean, last year, I want to take a look here. So last year he finished with 73 receptions and 91 targets, 673 yards. So right now he's got 356. So he was averaging 42 yards a game as a rookie. So now you got a full off season with my guy, right? And I get it. Josh is being a different guy. He's not as aggressive throwing the ball downfield. I get that part. I'm not gonna take away from that. But for someone going into his second year, you lost Diggs, you lost Davis. I would expect to see a lot more from my guy, right? But it is what it is right now. He's got 34 receptions this year with 59 targets. The next guy up is Khalil Shakir with either like 56 or something. They're very similar in terms of what they're doing right now. So maybe it's just my frustration, man. I feel like we got too much talent offensively with Kincaid, with Khalil. You got Keon Coleman that's coming into his own right now, and then you drafted Amari Cooper. When these boys all get together on the same time and they're all healthy, all hell better break loose. I need to see somebody step up and be that dude. Somebody got to step up. And the reason it got me irked up is because when D-Hop joined the damn Chiefs, target share went up for my guy, you know what I'm saying, Travis Kelce. So I'll give a little grace to this offense right now, but we're putting up 30 points a game. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's great. It's fantastic. I get it. But now we're about to play guys that can hit back. Let's be real with each other. We're about to play guys that can actually hit back, right? Kansas City will hit back. Detroit will hit back. San Francisco will hit back. So this is where, we got to find some things out. So when I hear Travis Kelce's doing what he does, yes, I get it. He's a Hall of Famer, being thrown to by a Hall of Famer, being coached by a Hall of Famer. I get all that. But we play these guys every freaking year. We play them every year. Sounds like I'm ranting. I'm really not. I get so irked because I want so much for this freaking team. It just pisses me off, bro. Golly, man. I got to calm my ass down, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mario. Mario got me pissed off too. And my guy Walter.
Some of these stats I just don't quite get. Like him leading the team in targets to me, I would have guessed it would have been Shakir. That just goes to show you, I guess, that the disconnect right now between what's being resulted in the play and what's the overall goal of what they're trying to get to come from that play. But as I mentioned earlier, it just feels like when they are getting him involved, either something goes wrong or it's not for a ton of yardage. You might get 3-4 yards on it. And then the deep ball thing too. The fact that the Bills are middle of the pack on that, once again, some of these numbers, I don't know how they get generated exactly, because in what planet does it feel like the Bills are like a mid-pack deep ball team? That might be based on, those deep balls might be based on passes caught and then taken for longer than 40 yards. In terms of air yards, though, they don't really air it down the field the way you'd think they would with Josh Allen.
Bro, I'm exhausted, bro. I get exhausted because
I understand the frustration. We were expecting
the moon from him. Yes, and it's crazy because I'm like, bro, people can just sit here and be like, yo, shut the hell up. We are the number 3 scoring offense of the game. What more do you want? It's just that when you go beyond the scoring and stuff like that, you see some of the struggles that we do get. Like how often are we talking about, bro, why is this offense starting so damn slow? Why do we have to wait until the second half to start making adjustments, which we love. We love the second half adjustments. But golly, it takes so damn long. But there's such things that you can make packages. And this is why I'm going to be and am the hardest on Joe Brady. Going forward, I'm going to be hard on Joe Brady because we're going to go against teams that actually can hit back. Was it Ben Johnson? I'm saying Ben Johnson. I feel like I'm saying the wrong name. The offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, it's Ben Johnson.
Is it Ben Johnson? I'm thinking of Ben Johnson, the sprinter. It's past your time. You don't know who Ben Johnson is. But Ben Johnson, big time Canadian sprinter, doped up, but he was that dude for a minute. He was that dude. But anyway, I'm showing my age here. But anyway, you got Ben Johnson. That's gonna be looking to smack back. You know what I mean? He's looking to get a head coaching job at some point. So I guess what I'm coming down to is this: healthy defense is gonna help tremendously. We got some guys banged up. I expect more. You know what I'm saying? Especially because Coop is banged up. Keon's not here. Now Kincaid's hurt, which pisses me off even more. I would have loved to see it. Like, didn't you expect more out of Khalil Shakir as well in this past game against the Colts, knowing who was hurt, who was not, like who was not around? All right, this is going to be the Khalil game. And it was just typically what we give him: 6 receptions, 4 screenplays. I feel like I'm a fucking broken record, man. I'm done with this, man. Listen. Let me just chill. Let me just breathe for a little minute. My bad, Z-Bot. My brother got to breathe a little bit.
Yeah,
I got to breathe. I'm going to chill.
I mean, Shakir did lead the team in targets in that game. So it just wasn't a great day in the air. I mean, I know Allen had 280 yards, but, he was 22 at 37, didn't have a passing touchdown. When's the last time that's happened? It feels like that's an anomaly. And he had a quarterback rating of 60. It just wasn't a great passing day, and I think we know why. Shakir, though, I mean, he was the main focal point on the offense in terms of trying to get him the ball. The defense, though, just did so much in that game where I think you were able to overlook a bit the fact that on offense, the Bills just did not have their best day, and that's putting it lightly.
And I'll say this because, and it sounds like I'm poo-pooing on this offense. I really am not. It's just that when you see such potential, when our parents are like, I see so much in you, or you had a teacher that was like, I get so mad because you're so smart. You're such a smart kid, and you're this and that, and you're just throwing it away. And you hear that, right? And you're like, yo, chill out, Mr. Such and Such, or chill out, Mrs. B. And it's this, I guess I'm Mr. B here. I'm like, yo, man, I see so much potential, and this team could be so damn good. Once we come together and we're healthy, yo, F this whole league, man. We're gonna take this shit by storm. Without Diggs, without Davis, without freaking Mitch Morse, we're gonna take this bitch by storm, man. I just hate that we're hurt. I think that's where what I'm annoyed more. We're hurt, so we can't fully see what we got. But Allen is showing that he's still that dude, man. Even though he had no passing touchdowns, that boy was still, like you said earlier, he was still able to put up 280 yards passing. We're still able to put up 400 yards of offense, which is fantastic. You got to give him the credit there. So that's the solace that I can take out of this. But golly, man. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm a little too much. I'm too wired up, man. Too wired. What's Walter saying?
Walt's saying I wasn't shocked because with Coleman and Cooper out, the area the Colts really had to be concerned with was the middle of the field.
They took it away.
Yeah, I mean, we just knew with them out, it wasn't going to be easy, and that's why it wasn't. I mean, Allen had 15 incompletions in this game. There were a couple of moments where he just flat out missed guys too. He did wind up making those 1 or 2 plays that wound up overcoming those inefficiencies that wound up being a huge difference as well. But yeah, the fact that they were that to me is why I was impressed last week, despite the fact the offense wasn't all that impressive. It was the fact that they were able to get to 30 against the team on the outside of the playoff picture, kind of looking in, that they're right there with a couple of other teams in terms of being able to make the postseason, and they're still able to hit that 30. It's that complementary aspect we were talking about earlier, where you do have your top guys out, right? And you got to find a way to put points on the board. And that's exactly what they wound up doing. And the fact that they were able to get 86 yards out of Hollins and they were able to get 280 yards out of Allen, despite the fact that he threw 2 picks and didn't play very well, that just goes to show you, their ability in moments where it's not their day.
And it's a valid point. It is a valid point to make as well. And sometimes I think a lot of fans can feel my frustration, or I don't want to say frustration because I'm not frustrated. I'm chilling, right? But like a passion, if you will. But like when you have such great, like this, right? My man Lewis is saying it, man. Rico, you're just mad because the Bills have so much potential and you think they're wasting it. I wouldn't say they're wasting it, because if you think about it, you had James Cook go 19 carries for like 80 plus yards. We actually have a solid running back that you can actually count on. So that's a plus in itself, right? We have an O-line that's actually healthy, that's making holes for this O-line, the running backs to find lanes. So I can't be mad, because like there's going to be certain times where, it's going to be the run game is going to be running it today, or it's going to be this, it's going to be that, right? If you think about it, we've been complaining, and that's why I said I got to chill, because we've been complaining. I'll use myself for that. Where the hell's Curtis Samuel? Curtis Samuel had 8 targets this game. He had 8 targets. So they tried to get that brother the ball, and it was working early, and it just wasn't, adjustments are made, and it just wasn't working out at the end of the day. I'm just waiting for this health to kick in so we can truly see the full potential of this team. Boy, I can't wait. Bills are grinding because go ahead. My man Ashley says, Bills are grinding because of the injuries and what are the playoff games. They are grind. They understand it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I get that point. I really do. It's like, listen, man, one game at a time. We got this. Let's roll. We'll see how it goes.
I'm not really all that frustrated at all. I mean, I understand I understand your frustration with maybe not having Kincaid put up the numbers I think that we all thought he might. But man, I mean, these Bills have scored 30 points in 4 consecutive games, 6 out of their 9. They're banged up right now. You got James Cook. He's 4th in the league in scoring touchdowns, which I feel like doesn't get talked about. I mean, he's up there, right? You got Allen with nearly 20 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. That's been super efficient.
Yep.
And this team isn't even with their top guys right now. They've only had Cooper and Coleman out on the field together. What?
Not long. 3 games? 2 games?
I think it might have been 2 most. Yeah. So my frustration right now, I don't know. I'm not there yet. We'll see what ends up happening here. But I don't know. I haven't really felt overwhelmingly pessimistic about what I've seen offensively. The only thing that you could probably complain about on my end would be the slow starts that seem to be a little bit too often. But when they overcome it the way that they do with such vigor in the second half, it's pretty impressive. And you almost kind of put that to the side, the fact that they start slow. You wonder if it'll bite them down the end of the line, which you hope it doesn't, of course.
Yeah, you definitely hope it doesn't. Zach of all trades. What's up, Zach? Zach, don't come here and tell me go get my super chats, bro. Don't tell me that. I'll get you. We're not going to disrespect you by skipping your super chat, man. That's your hard-earned money that you coming through. We ain't going to do that to you. You're not seeing my super chat. So come on, bro. We gonna get.
By the way, transparency, Zach. They automatically star each other, the super chats, so they put them in a separate pile for us to see. For some reason, yours didn't, so that's why we didn't see it. I'm just looking right now; it's not in the list of stars. That's weird. I don't know why I would do that, but that's why.
It's all good. I mean, listen, it happens. It's all good. But Zach, we appreciate you. Don't get me wrong. We appreciate you. Zach comes in and says, beginning of the year, Kincaid was doubled and tripled, and there was moments where they took away my man Kincaid. Not gonna hate on that for sure. Last few weeks, Allen and Kincaid have been a little out of sync. Not a good blocker either. Teams see that as a tell that Kincaid is just a receiver. I mean, I think they knew that him coming out of college. He's not known to be a guy that's going to sit here and be an inline blocker. That's not his game. He's known, and that's why he was a coveted tight end, right? So, I mean, Sam Laporta is not, to my understanding, he's a down the field, get out and get in and do your business. He's not known to be an inline type blocker. Has he improved on it? Probably. But I think people knew that. They knew that about that individual. But I mean, listen, man, I can sit here and talk about how I'm frustrated with this, and there's not really any reason to be frustrated. I think it's just more so the potential this team has to be so damn good, and we sometimes look like we're just like middle of the pack. Sometimes. So we're about to find out these next 4 games what this team is truly, truly made of. And I think it's going to be really telling. Here's a question for you. I asked Carl Jones this question. These next 4 games, Chiefs, Niners, Detroit Lions, and who's the 4th team we're playing?
Rams.
The Rams. What's our record in those 4?
So you got 2 at home, 2 away. Chiefs are home, Niners are home, Rams are away, Lions are away. 3-1.
Who's the 1-2?
Detroit.
Interesting. You know what? I ain't shook from Detroit for something. I think we'll match well against Detroit.
See, I don't think we match well with them at all. That's why they scare me.
Oh, really? I think we match well. But I mean, listen, we'll see how it all plays out. But something tells me we're gonna play them better if we're healthy the way we're supposed to be. We'll play them really well. Man, Terrence, that's a great question, brother. That's a great question.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. That is a great question.
Oh, that's a great question, my G. Rico, would you extend James Cook? Terrence, you were an asshole for that, man. Would you extend James Cook? Well, based on what they did with Zach Moss, they shipped that brother out. And then they shipped out Devin Singletary. You can tell that they don't value the running back position as much as we claim that they may. James Cook might be a guy that they feel like, you know what, we can find another James Cook in the draft, get to going. But you don't like James Cook has become a great weapon for Josh and the Bills offense. But then you just drafted Ray Davis that can do the very things that James Cook can do, and maybe more because of his ability to pass block. So the question again is, do you re-sign James Cook and extend him? OMG. Man, I got to get back to you on that one, man. Let me let this year finish. Let me let this year finish first before I make that decision. I think it's too premature to talk about it. I know as hard as I am on James Cook, you would think that say, heck no. But I also know the value he brings to the Bills. I know the value he brings to Josh Allen and the difficulty that he possesses for these defenses to figure out where the hell James Cook is. And he's slippery and smooth within the pockets, right? When he's running between the tackles. So, yo, hit me back with that. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. What do you got, Z-Bot? You think would you extend him or call it a day?
It's a great question. I mean, right now he's such a great weapon. And of course, when you're paying him on a rookie deal, I mean, his cap hit is basically negligible. Right now, obviously with the rookie deal, they only pay him south of $6 million over 4 years. But after next year, he becomes a free agent. So next year is the year you got to make this decision. We have seen Ray Davis look pretty damn good. Now, he's not James Cook yet, but when he's been given his moments, he's been great. James Cook, I think, himself is phenomenal. The reason that this run game has evolved well beyond what it was when Allen first started, the reason why they've been running the ball as good as they were back with Shady McCoy, putting up numbers they haven't done since then, this offensive line has been terrific. Now, James Cook, not just anybody can go back there and put up what he's been able to put up, but the question comes down to price tag, right? And what you're going to be willing to put on that, where I do feel like when you look at teams like the Chiefs who have moved on from the running back position, right? When you look at the Ravens who have moved on from the running back position. Now, I know they went and paid for Derrick Henry, but that's a different scenario. I think when you're looking at Barkley, McCaffrey, and Henry, and I think right now Bijan Robinson, who seems to be the best player for Atlanta, it might be a bit of a different situation. But none of those teams have a Josh Allen. So I think you might look at it a bit differently. Obviously the Ravens have Lamar, but I think that their team is so predicated on that run that it felt like Derrick Henry being who he is. It's just a different story. I don't think you can compare the two situations. I would definitely do it, Rico. I would 100% do it. It's not like I'm sitting here saying I wouldn't. I would love to have James Cook stay. I would love to re-sign him. The question is, though, if you're going to have to pay him like Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey, Barkley money, then I don't think the Bills will do it. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard's 8th. He's only the 8th highest paid running back. So I don't know.
I don't know. That mark. Maybe give or take.
Yeah. If you can get it on the cusp of the top 10,
Yeah.
The question, and I also wonder what's the market like to pay him top of the market money? Is that out there? Because I don't think teams won't do that unless you are the casual fan knows who you are. And that's Barkley, CMC, and Derrick Henry. Now there's other names that are going to wind up being there. Bijan Robinson being one of them. But like the Colts, for instance, they were built around Jonathan Taylor, and they currently still try to be. They don't really have much of anything. So I wonder with these teams that have quarterbacks like the Bills do, if it's worth paying that type of money. But we'll find out.
Good point. It's a good point. My man, Arrowhead Nation. Yo, we love Arrowhead Nation, man.
Hell yeah.
I say, man, every show that brother is in here, you must see some value in my man Z-Bot and I. So we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you very much. So Arrowhead Nation comes in and says, hey, man, I feel you, Rico, to have the QB to win now, but Kansas City is the only team that's standing in your way. I hate that you just said that because it's freaking true. But anyway, let's keep going. At 48, lifelong Chiefs fan, getting so close, but coming up short the last 50 years, Buffalo will have your day. I hope it's this year. I don't want to wait another day. I don't want to wait another year. I want it now. I want it now. Golly, I want it now, man. What's up, Mitch? Mitch comes in and says, yo, my wild prediction is that Allen will catch a TD pass like the Houston wildcard game. Well, if it is the results, I just don't want him to take the hit he took because that hit was a nasty hit.
Literally did a flip.
I didn't like it at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. Not one bit at all. I asked you a question about what you thought of the next 4 games against these juggernaut teams, how we're going to fall. Ryan Tungan says 2-2. Jeff King comes in. We says, hey, we go 2-2, 4-0, 3-1. So I went to my man, Carl Jones. I asked Carl Jones, what do you have us doing? He said, I see us splitting it. He goes, we'll go 2-2. We're going to lose. I didn't ask him to say, who do we lose to? He just said, we go 2-2, which is still not a bad day.
No, I'll take that.
Not a bad day at all. Walter says, I'm predicting a worthy long touchdown pass because us giving up the first real one will be the billsiest thing ever. It's
hell
true,
of a point. I wish I would have thought of that. Because I'm usually good at thinking of very billsy things, Walter. That was a great poll. That is 1,000% going to happen.
Is that a billsy thing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yes. God, yes. That is an insanely billsy thing. Yes. I pride myself on thinking of the most traumatic billsy things that could possibly happen. Not that would be the most traumatic thing that could happen, but that would definitely stick in my craw, no question.
You know what? I'll up you that. The most billsy thing is we fall into the same freaking scenario as last year. But the difference is it's for the win, and we need Tyler Bass to come in and nail it, and he does the same crap he did the year before. That will be a billsy thing to happen.
I think right now the most billsy thing that could happen would be to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs and then lose to whoever they play next. That's, to me, would be the most billsy thing ever.
Sorry, to run that back again?
To beat the Chiefs in the playoffs and then lose the next game. That, to me, that's like the ultimate billsy thing to me.
I mean,
like that's like the pinnacle of you know what I mean?
I get it. I mean, if it's in the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like you beat them in the divisional and then, but they won't. Honest to God, I've said this before. I just want to see a Super Bowl, man. If we lost, it would absolutely kill me. Yes. But getting there would really mean something to me. It would destroy me. But
for those that are old enough to really experience the time when the Bills went to the Super Bowl, didn't that feel the best? And I wonder, and here's another thing too. I wonder which one felt the best. Was it the first one, second, third, or fourth? And it sounds crazy and wild for me to ask that question. But did they all have different sentiments and feelings? Was there a one point where you're like, all right, this is the first one. I'm so pumped. We're definitely going to get this one. We lose it. Whatever. Second one, I can't believe we made it to a second Super Bowl. Let's roll. We definitely got this one. Ouch. We lost that one too. Here we go. Third time's a charm. Wow, we got drubbed. Fourth time, you're like, this has got to be it. Could you imagine? You're probably sitting there as a feeling like, yo, 3 in a row. We can't go 4 in a row. Golly, and it happened.
You know what I've always wondered?
Oof.
What would I feel like the next season after winning it? Like, would my motivation be as high? I've always wondered that. Because you got to think so much of our insanity as Bills fans is never having the taste. What happens when you get the taste? Do you want another? Like, are you dying once you get the taste? Are you dying for another taste? Or is that I've always wondered like how I'll feel the next year. Always wondered that. And God, do I want to find out? My God, do I want to find out?
Well, I mean, listen, you got to ask the Rams that because they went all in. They went all in, right? They said, yo, F them picks. We don't care. We want to get the things that we need. And they got it. Do you think they're like itching to get back? I think that they knew. I guess when you know that you've gone all in and all the chips are on the table, yo, you don't really care if you win the next one after that and the year after that. You can kind of rest on your Super Bowl win as a fan and wait a couple years and go from there. But we're in that position where we have a franchise quarterback. So like, yes, I'd like a taste again. You got me sounding like freaking Jordan Phillips.
Let me ask you this.
Like the way I taste.
Let me ask you this.
Man.
Out of so right now, everyone I think for the most part says Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Lamar in whatever order you put them in.
Sorry, run that back. Which order am I putting them in?
I'm not asking you to put them in the order. I'm just saying that's typically people's top four. That's just depending on the order, right?
Of course.
Let me ask you this. Only one of them has a Super Bowl trophy, of course. That's Mahomes. By the time they all hang it up, how many of those guys have a ring?
Oh, that's a great question. By the time I think I'd love to say three of them. Out of all of them, I think three quarterbacks will have a ring.
You do?
One's gonna go without.
You think there's gonna be okay.
Ain't no way every one of them is winning one. It's just not happening.
Oh my God, no. I think there's only
I think three, and that's a lot to go. I think three will get one. One's going to be without. The real question is who's going to be without. We already know which one's got a ring.
You want to talk about a Billsy thing? I won't even say it. I think it's going to be two. I think one of these guys eventually goes over the hump. And it's anyone's guess as to who it could be.
You're thinking it.
No, I'm just saying, like in general, like I just think that
you have a name on your mind. You have a face.
The Bills have been well, I can't say closest because the Bengals made it, but the Bills have been the most consistent towards the pursuit of being able to do it. But I just don't see it being like, even though I know there's a ways to go here. Like obviously Stroud's only in his second year.
Right.
Right. But I just don't see it being anyone other than those guys. And I just don't know if it I wonder if they get there. Like you got to get past Mahomes, and I think one of them will. But like right now, you look back on it, right? And the interesting thing is, and they're all in the same conference. That's the thing. So you have to cannibalize one another to even get the chance at it. That's what's so difficult about it. Because it, like for Drew Brees, for example, like, yeah, he was up there with Roethlisberger and Manning and Brady, but he was in the NFC. So it's a bit different, right? I wonder how that factors in their ability to do it, because I think only one more will do it, and it'll just be a one-off. I don't know if I see multiple for any of them.
Well, right now it's looking very good. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's looking very good for the Ravens. It's looking very good for the Bills. Like, you got a team that's 7-3 in the Ravens. You got the Bills at 8-2. Right? I mean, it's not gonna be like I'm talking about like if you're looking at these two of the three right now, Burrow, Lamar, and Josh. I mean, right now, Josh has got just as much as a chance to win this thing as Lamar. I don't care that head-to-head went down. When it really matters, you know, I mean, we know who's got your number when it comes to the playoff time. But it feels different for Lamar. But sometimes it's like Josh could rip off 4 wins straight, and these Bills are the hottest thing ever. And then he's right back in it as MVP. Here's another thing, too. You were talking about Lamar's running away with the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen goes and beats the Kansas City Chiefs without Amari, without Keon, without Kincaid. Bro, that should automatically catapult him right neck and neck with Lamar Jackson.
What if the Ravens beat the Steelers to overlap them because currently the Steelers are number 1 in the North? That would give the Ravens the number 1 spot in the North.
Okay, and let's say the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely obliterate the Ravens.
That's what I said. That something like that has to happen.
Absolutely.
Like Allen has to gain ground, and that would mean Lamar has to lose ground. He'd have to get destroyed and have to play terrible. Like you'd have to play terrible.
And I think that's why, like when we were talking about last week, like, because Lamar looked fantastic. There's no lie. He looked absolutely fantastic.
Unreal.
But if Josh Allen comes out and just Jalen Virgil has a monster game, goes for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, you're like, who? Virgil? The last Virgil I know was Virgil the wrestler, the Ted DiBiase's manager. You wouldn't know that because you're too young. I love when I like to say that. I like to point at you and say you're too young for that. Ted DiBiase, when he had Virgil as his manager, Jalen Virgil comes in for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. That'd be crazy. Josh Allen would automatically catapult to contender if the Pittsburgh Steelers absolutely take care of business with the Ravens. And I don't know what the head-to-head is between those two. I know the Ravens.
Lamar has a losing record to the Steelers.
That game is going to be such a game, man.
And it's at 1:00, so we can watch it.
We get to watch that bitch. We get to watch that.
Speaking of their chances to make the Super Bowl, by the way,
right?
The Ravens' defense is not good enough to win the Super Bowl. They're not good enough. Right now, in terms of scoring defense, it's one of the worst.
What?
Teams with scoring defenses like the Ravens historically cannot win the Super Bowl. So if history is on, the side of consistency, their defense isn't good enough. It won't have anything to do with Lamar, I don't think. Maybe it would because he hasn't played well in the playoffs. Their defense, it's not good enough.
And then you sign Trey White. What they expect Trey White to do? I'm baffled, but you know what? Maybe it's just an error that needs to be. Maybe it's a great fit for Trey, but that defense does have to be better, which is crazy because they went from being one of the best defenses, if not the best defense last year, to piss poor. What the heck took place?
It's crazy.
What the heck took place? Walter says if the Steelers win the division, Lamar isn't winning the MVP. If he doesn't even win his damn division, how can he win the MVP of the league? There was a conversation being had, which annoyed the heck out of me. Which I tried to do the math today, and I gave up because my son was just in my ear, right? And they're like, I think it was Damian Woody got the ball. He was talking about how great Lamar Jackson's year has been, and there's no denying it. He's had a fantastic year, but he's at 2,600 yards. He's got 24 touchdown passes or 24 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, or 26 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and it's week 11. And I'm like, hold on. What were Josh's stats last year come week 11? And I'm curious to see, because they're glazing the heck out of, I can't believe I used the word glazing. You got me using the freaking
It's everybody's favorite word these days.
Oh my gosh. They're all over this brother right now. And statistically, he's doing well. But Josh Allen, 11 weeks in. I don't know. Bartek is in this bitch. Bartek, help me out, bro. 11 weeks in for Josh Allen. Where was he with statistics in yards and touchdowns? And you can factor in rushing as well if you want to. If we're gonna, because they're gonna use that for Lamar Jackson too, because he's doing big things. I think Josh had similar numbers, if not better. And they sitting here just all over.
There's no way. Josh Allen threw how many interceptions last year? 18.
He did have quite a bit of interception turnovers. He had 18 turnovers to end the year. But it doesn't take away from statistically what he was doing. I'm just curious what he was at 11 weeks in. Did he have a lot of interceptions at that point? He had 4 for crying out loud in the first one. So.
It should be so much easier to find stats like this. This is why is it still so difficult to find stats like this?
I tried using AI today. I was like, I have no time. He's bugging me. So I put AI. AI is like, he's having a great year. He's 8-2, bitch. I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking last year. And last year they gave me he had 44. Forget it.
Why is it so difficult? There's nothing that exists right now where you can type that in and it works well, which is crazy because of how all the advanced analytics that are out there. There's nothing that exists like that.
And this is why, Walter, I bring this up, because they were saying, he's statistically doing this and he's statistically doing that. But if your team, like Walter was saying earlier, if your team is not even leading the division, because they were talking about wins and stats, right? Oh, it's about the stats. It's about the stats. But if he loses to the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's 4 losses. You're gonna give and Josh finishes the league. I don't know, let's just say Josh and the Bills finish with 3 losses for the rest of the year. Let's just say, all right, bam. You got to give it to the winningest guy because that's why they gave it to Lamar last year because he was the winningest quarterback. If he's not even the winningest quarterback, oh, it's only stats that matters. It was pissing me off. So which is it? Wins or stats? Which is it? Because statistically for the MVP, it's supposed to be strictly about the stats. Josh Allen should have won it last year then, if that's the case. Oh, but Lamar had 30. He had his team 13-4, but his statistics were Tyrod Taylor like.
So I just looked it up. At this point in the year last year, Josh Allen had 10 less touchdowns than Lamar has right now, just strictly throwing.
Oh, you did it right now?
Yeah, strictly just throwing the ball. And up until that, so yeah, he has 10 less. Keep going 1 second. I'm getting the stats right now.
Yeah. Anyways, so let me just get some comments here. I know the turnovers are going to be a major disqualifier, 100%. I was just curious to see where he was at because I'm like, Josh was having a decent year last year, so I wondered where he would be at yards, rushing touchdowns, because they're using all of his touchdowns, rushing and passing, to be where he's at. So I was like, maybe
he's got. Doesn't he have 24 throwing touchdowns?
Does he? I thought it was 24 total touchdowns. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Let me see.
I could be wrong. But anyway, nonetheless, I bring this all up because when Woody Johnson was it Woody
24
Johnson?
Throwing touchdowns, by the way, Rico. It is throwing.
He's got 24, and he's probably got like 5 rushing touchdowns, probably.
I think he only has a couple this year. He hasn't had a ton, but I have it here.
Yards rushing though, I think.
Oh, he does.
I think he does. I think it was pretty crazy. He's having, and there's no getting away from it. He's having a fantastic year. Fantastic year. Can't even take away from it. My man Jeff King. What up, Jeff? Jeff says, yo, up till that game, Josh was in the conversation. Again, I couldn't give a damn about the MVP. Yes, it's status for the Bills and him, but it ain't the Lombardi, baby. That's all of us, any of us want. One freaking ring. You damn right, Jeff.
So I found it. Right. No, Jeff's spot on, by the way. And that's all we just want. We want Josh Allen to have some sort of hardware. I mean, that's what we want. We want to be able to look back and have something to symbolize it. Of course. But at this point in the year last year, through 10 games, Rigo, he had triple the amount of receptions and 10 less touchdowns. So not really that close.
Walter, I saw that stat too. The last time there was a someone that won it was AP back in 2012. So it's not likely. It's not likely, but it's possible. It is possible. So
I will say though, yeah, he did have way more rushing touchdowns, Allen, to his credit. Like I think he had 12 rushing touchdowns up until then, which is crazy.
He was killing, man. He was actually killing it.
Yeah,
that touch push was doing it. So let me ask you this before we run out of here, because I appreciate everybody tuning in. I think we had a fire show today, and that's how we want to have it. And then you get to go off into the sunset and get yourself. Yeah, are you suited and booted? What are you going to wear for the suit?
No, it's not a wedding. It's a bachelor party in Nashville for my brother-in-law.
Missing that for that.
12 guys, 12 dudes out in Nash Vegas this weekend.
Nash Vegas, I like that. Let me get this before we get out of here. Excuse me. So going into this game, obviously, there's some confidence in this game. Obviously, we've got some things that we want to worry about, but for the most part, you feel confident. You said we go 3-1 with the next 4 games. We go into the playoffs as the number 2 seed, because I was looking at, okay, once we get into the play, let's say we finish the league at the number 2 seed. Mm-hmm. Who do we face? Right. And there's not really any team that scares me to say, oh my gosh, like we're going to play this team. Right. So I was looking at it to see, like, okay, so we finished with the 2 seed. Who would we end up playing based on the playoff picture now? Right. And I found this interesting. What's that? Yes.
Is it Denver?
It was Denver when I looked. I'm going to see if it changed. Where's my?
I think it's still Denver.
Okay, there's playoff picture. I thought I saw Denver, but I'm gonna make sure. Let me just open my page up here and share it with you fine folk, because I found this truly entertaining. Before we get in, by the way, if you guys haven't smashed that like, folks, do us a favor, smash that like for us and get us going, and let's get these algorithms going, man. Like we're trying to gain some followers so we can reach our goal of 30,000 subscribers. So help us reach our goal. We're trying to reach goals, man. We got goals. We got goals to reach. All right. So here we go. So right now, Chiefs being number 1, we're the number 2 seed. So we would be facing. Oh yeah. There you have it. So wait, will we face the we be facing the Broncos, and then that's going to be interchangeable because we have guys that are in the bubble still.
I think it's going to be Cincinnati, and I don't know how much I like that. I will say though,
since he is annoying, they're a thorn in our side, man.
They are annoying. Their offense is incredible. It's just their defense has struggled. Right now, the difference is it's almost pick your poison. If it's the Bengals, you have to play against a really top-end offense with a weak defense. If you play the Chargers or the Broncos, you're getting a middling offense. The Denver Broncos are below that, I would say. But you're getting top-end defense from both of them. So it's almost like pick your poison at that point.
How the heck do the Jets have a 20% chance to make the playoffs?
They don't. Don't even look at that. They'd have to win this weekend, and I think Joe Flacco's back to form on Sunday.
No, they benched Joe Flacco.
Oh, that's right. ARs. How about they said Richardson was done for the year, 2 weeks, and now he's back? How crazy is that?
Yeah, they said you're back, bud. You're back. Oh, my bad, bud. They said you're bad, bud. You're back.
How crazy is that?
We just wanted you
to say it was an experiment. They said the whole year, and then 2 weeks they go back on it.
Yeah, because they looked at Flacco and was like, dude, this is terrible. And if you really want to see what your quarterback looks like, you got to put him in. Like, let him gain some valuable time. Like, let them do what they did with Josh Allen. Gain some valuable time. And that's what they love to use Josh Allen as a staple. Well, Josh Allen was able to do it, and he was a 50% passer. And Josh Allen put the work in, my guy. He put the work in. So apparently, this last couple of weeks that my boy's been out, apparently he's been putting the work in at practice, showing up on time in the film room, and blah blah blah. And they're like, "All right, he's earned his way back."
So, I mean, what is this? It's like your wife kicks you out of the house and she wants to be done with you, and then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden, you're a model husband. Like, what happened in 2 weeks now, where he's all of a sudden the best solution for the team?
Wifey's missing the D, so she's like, you know what, come back in. So listen, apparently, I mean, they said, yo. Hey, Richard, come back in, man. You good to go, bro. And I bet you the locker room was like, yo, what are we doing here? What are we doing? He gives us the best chance to win. This guy cannot run, he's not mobile. At least you have a dual threat in Anthony Richardson. But golly, he is awful. He's inaccurate. Like, he is 44%. That's, bro, as a receiver, I'm pissed. I need the ball, guy. Like, golly, but anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. What's Jeff saying?
Jeff the Kinger, he's saying, great show as always, guys. Bot, enjoy the trip or the strip or both, I guess. I will enjoy both. Appreciate it, Jeff. I will. Have a great time. You're going to need a good Bloody Mary in the morning. If Hoot and Holler is still open, they make the best. Be well, folks. Thanks as always. Believe it or not, I do love a drink. I do love a drink every now and then. I would rather drink pond water than a Bloody Mary. I can think of 1,000 things I'd rather drink than a Bloody Mary. The idea... tomato juice with booze and horseradish and celery. Who the hell came up with that? And then who the hell thought it was good enough to become like a staple? And they also put like olives and blue cheese. I mean, it literally sounds like something you'd give to someone in medieval times to torture them. I don't know how the hell people drink that shit.
You have the Bloody Mary. What's the one with when they put the rim of the salt rim around
Margarita.
It? No. It's a red drink. It's not a Bloody Mary, but it's what's that stupid drink? The wife will drink it sometimes. I'm like, that's gross. How are you gonna drink that? It's like Clamato juice and some bullshit in it. Is it a Bloody Caesar? Is there such thing as a Bloody Caesar?
God, I don't know, but that sounds.
Somebody in the chat tell me, for crying out loud, what it is. It's annoying the heck out of me. I'm not gonna have to call Jenna.
That might be a custom Jenna drink because I don't know what. No,
it's not a freaking custom Jenna thing. It's not a Shirted Temple.
Oh, I can show it.
Clamato Bloody Mary. Maybe it's a Bloody Mary. Maybe this is what I'm talking about. Maybe what you're saying is what it is, and it's gross. And I agree, totally gross.
Oh my god, I can't think of anything worse.
Somebody said V8. Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever happened to V8? Remember those commercials? Could have had a V8 and they hit you in the head. Whatever happened to that?
Let me tell you something. There was a point where I'm not a vegetable guy. I don't do vegetables. I'm just I'm a carb guy. Carbs and meat, and that's what I do. And there was a point where there was these V8 splash drinks where it was fruit, but it tasted more like a fruit smoothie rather than the veggie. Because I didn't want to drink no damn V8. That's gross. So I was doing those V8 splash smoothies, man. They were fantastic. But them things were expensive as shit. I was like, yo, I gotta stop that, man. I was like, I gotta stop that, man. But It's a Caesar, isn't it? Yeah, it's a Caesar.
I've never heard of that.
There's the Bloody Mary and there's a Caesar. She loves the Caesar. The question is, Shelly, thank you for that, Shelly. What's the difference between a Caesar and a Bloody Mary?
I don't know. I can tell you the similarity. They both blow. That's definitely the similarity.
That's what it is, man. A Bloody Mary and a Caesar. I don't know what the Caesars, but what the Caesar do is they'll rim it around some salt and some seasoning salt. I don't know what they do, and they pour it with the Caesar. Gross. You got a salty drink, like, bro? No.
See, the margarita, the spicy margarita with the jalapenos in it, with the cayenne on the outside. Now that gets me, even though that sounds a little crazy. I love those.
Thank you. That's what it is. The Caesar, the Canadian Bloody Mary.
There you go. It's a Canadian thing. Of course it is.
That thank you, London Calling, for crying out loud. I'm like, it must be the same thing. It's got to be Bloody Mary, Caesar. See, I don't know why Canadians do that. Why do Canadians do that? Right? It's the same shit. You Americans do miles. We do kilometers. When I'm renting a car,
everybody does kilometers. To your credit, we're the assholes when it comes to that department.
Well, then get your shit together, fellas. Like, stop with the miles. I'm sitting here looking at my dash. I'm like, okay, 60. If I'm doing 60 and I'm doing, get out of here with that. I just have to
we just got to be different over here. We said no to hell with it. We're gonna go against what everybody else is doing.
A Bloody Mary is a love it. You learn something every day, man. Anyway, listen, enjoy yourself at the wedding.
Thank you.
Quick question for you. What's the plan? Do you guys know what the hell? Somebody said, what is a kilometer? Well, you better stop.
Bro, if you offered me $5 million and said convert 1 mile to 1 kilometer, I'd say, buddy, keep the change, because I couldn't do it.
And I can't stand it when you guys use Fahrenheit. What? Hey, it's 80 degrees. What the hell is 80 degrees? I have to go, okay, 80. Okay, so it's probably 32 degrees for me. Okay, 32 degrees. And if I say 30 degrees, you guys are like, whoa, that's freezing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's really warm. So Fahrenheit, Celsius, that's how we do, man. But yeah, Jeff says, you guys are smart enough. You have never needed a Bloody Mary.
I wish I could say that, Jeff, but you want to know what my Achilles heel is? What my vice is when it comes to the morning drinks? It's the mimosas. All these brunch joints now do bottomless mimosas, and I mean, you can go 07 Brady up. Speaking of which, pull back to earlier. You can go 07 Brady on those mimosas if you want.
Are you a mimosa guy?
Oh yeah, screwdriver, mimosa in the morning. Those are the morning drinks.
Oh, those are morning drinks. You're a drinker.
Well, I've had a drink or two before, that's for sure. The morning drink. When I say that, I mean like the brunch. If you go to brunch, it's either Bloody Marys or the mimosas, and I'm all in on the mimosas.
So if I ask you, like, hey, how much you weigh? Would you say I weigh 78 kgs, or would you say I weigh such and such pounds?
Once again, if you ask me to convert 1 pound to 1 kilogram, I'd tell you, buddy,
go kick rocks.
That's why the internet exists.
So you're this bachelor party you're going to. Do you know what the festivities will be? Are you going to strip club, or is it just kind of we're going paintball in? Do you know what the plans are, or no, not at all?
So, well, Nashville, the beauty of it is everything's usually done in one spot. That's just the strip there. There's 1,000 bars. So that'll be the primary event. The one thing I know for a fact we're doing is go-karting on Friday at one of those like legit ones where the things go like 60 miles an hour or whatever, and it costs probably $150 freaking dollars to do it. But I know we're doing that. And other than that, I don't know. I'm wearing my Canadian tuxedo though.
Let me ask you a question. Let's just say the boys were like, "Yo, strip club. We're going to the strip club," and wifey says, "No, you're not going."
If I texted Caroline to go to a strip club and she said no, I would know she got kidnapped. That would be her signal to me that she's in trouble. Caroline has been to the strip club 10,000 times more in her life. And I say 10,000 times more, I might mean 6 times to my 2.
Okay.
I can name on 2 fingers, I think, the amount of times I've been to one, and it might have lasted a total of 20 minutes between the 2. I don't know why that was never a thing with us. We just never did that. But Caroline loves it. In fact, so my brother-in-law who's getting married, his fiance, Caroline went on her bachelorette party, and Caroline went to a strip club there. We probably won't go to one here. But gotcha. Caroline would literally, like, if I asked her, I don't feel like going, she would force me to go. She loves them. She thinks they're a ball.
Like, just go ahead. Listen, there's sometimes I had some of my friends be like, they go there for lunch. They go, listen, the buffet is freaking amazing. You got the best food ever. I don't really go for that stuff. I go for the food. Fam, there was like back in my day, there was dude, that's what they'd go for. Bro, you should see the buffet. The buffet line is amazing. Yeah, but what about the man off of that, man? Yo, the buffet line is the shit. So I figured I'd ask to see what your thoughts were on that. Because I know some guys would be like, yo, wifey says no, man. I ain't going, bro. Yo.
How about Jenna? Would she give it? Would she care?
Back in the day, no. Now, I mean, it's different now because
we're
a little older. We got the kid. She'd be asking me like, what business do you have over there? You got everything you need right here.
And that's when you say, but honey, the buffet.
But I'm only going for the wings. The wings are great. Nah, it's a different vibe because I personally, it's not my vibe. So if the boys were like, yo, this is what we're going to do, they would know enough to say, no, he's out. Wood's out. He ain't doing it. It is what it is, right? It's one of those things where you have phases in your day. Back in the day, I'll probably old me, yeah. Now they'll be like, nah, he's out, man. He's married. He's got the kiddos. He ain't about that life. Let's go have some fun without me.
I don't see the appeal in him. Every time I've gone, it's just awkward. It's like, no, I don't want to get. I don't know. It's not for me. It is just not for me.
Once you've seen one, you've seen them all, type of thing. So it's like, well, what's gonna change? Ain't nothing gonna change. I'll tell you a story. There's one time, and I think this was the one time that I was like, all right, it's a wrap for me. And when I get to the if I've had enough in my system, I'm a very like happy-go-lucky dude. I'm not like a mean mugger. There's some guys that get angry when they sip, and there's some guys that are super chatty. That's me. I'm super chatty, have a good time. Oh, yeah. And I went to the bar. I went to the bar to grab some. Thing is, when you go to these areas, you got to know who you with and who you're not with. There's a crowd of people in there that's not there for good reasons, right? So I'm going there and I put my hand on a dude's shoulder like this to say, "Oh man, watch out real quick." And he goes, "Yo, do I know you?" I was like, "Fam, it's not this type of party, man." Like in my mind, he's like, "Yo, bro, if I don't know you, don't be talking like that, man." I was like, "Bro, you know what? See you later." This is the type of like I don't like. That's not my vibe, bro. I'm out of here. So you don't know that, bro. It depends on where you at. Depends if you're not with your peoples, stay out of that. That's why to me, I was like, yo, what am I here for? Like you said, what am I missing? Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
I'm missing nothing, man. I'm missing nothing. So that was a lot. That was years ago. So that's not for me, man. But good. Enjoy your time. Go karting.
The other thing too, by the way, it's like you're rolling there with like 12 dudes. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, just that's what I don't get to. Like, you're there 12 guys deep, and we're just supposed to be like, just sit. I don't know. Go find me. You know what my favorite thing is? Like the hole in the wall bar with a couple of TVs and the well drinks are like $4. Take me there any day of the week. That's my type of spot.
What do they call them? Dive bars?
Yeah, dive bars, the hole in the wall. Like there's just one near Caroline's parents. It's my favorite place ever. The drinks cost what they probably cost back in '85. The place is just a one-room thing with a pool table, couple TVs. And it's always the same people, good people. And like you just said, you can talk to anyone in there for 3 hours. I have. And I love that. No, that's my type of vibe.
Bartek says Nashville is amazing. He went there with the boys 2 years ago. You're going to love it.
I love it there, man.
He says that fun. By the way, Bartek, I appreciate you putting my man Dominus in his place a little bit. Dominus, man, we're about to lock things up, man. The football talk is done, man. We're about to run out, bro. So don't be angry, bro. Don't be angry, Dominus, man. We good, bro.
It's Chiefs week, It's Chiefs week.
We got into it.
What's a Rico and Bod show without a little side chat at the end?
A little bit of banter. You feel me? Jeff King says, "You listen. In my day, stag parties consisted of strippers, booze, drugs, fights, and unfortunately, cops at the end. This was a stag party. It was your last night to go wild. Different era. Absolutely, man. Things are different these days.
That is so true. Like it is entirely different. And now it's like, it's not even, I don't know anybody who does that, honestly, anymore.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
But I will say, if I could hit the time machine button once, it might be to go back with Jeff King to one of these stag parties, because that sounds like it could be something.
Buddy, that would be something else, man. That would be absolutely something else. But listen, man, that is our time, folks. I think we've hit every chat. I think my wild prediction is that I will catch a TD. Yeah, we got that already. So listen, man, that's it for us. We appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been great. We talked some Chiefs football. We reminisced, sadly. And now it's time for us to get out of here and handle business. And we got a big game this Sunday. We're going to watch the Pittsburgh Ravens game first to get us all psyched up and ready to go. And then we got the Bills Chiefs at 4:00. Woo, we can't wait.
I can't wait. And I can't wait to be back with you. We'll have you for the post or the pregame show, rather, to get hyped up. We'll watch that, baby, and hopefully we will be doing a little number for you on the Rico and Bot post-game show after that one. I cannot wait for it. But until then, well over 1,000 of you in here with us tonight. We appreciate every single one of you, and we cannot wait for Sunday when we see you again. So much love as always. That's Rico. I'm Bot.
Let's go.
We appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you on Sunday.
Oh, boy.
Go Bills.
Go Bills, baby. Let's go.